Abeer, thank you so much for your time. Can you tell us what's happening in northern Gaza in terms of your organization's ability to work there?
Well, the situation is very, severe, dramatic, and I think that we're at loss of words at how desperate it is. I mean, since the beginning of this month, we have not managed to get any food supplies in the northern parts of Gaza. So technically speaking, we are in limbo. We're no longer operating in the northern of Gaza because we don't have any food supplies. Food distribution points, kitchens, bakeries, all have been forced to shut down simply because of the violence, because of the airstrikes, and because of the fact that supplies are not getting in. There are also military ground operations, evacuation orders. The only functioning bakery in the north of Gaza, which was supported by WFP, caught fire after being hit by an explosive ammunition. So that is the situation in the north of Gaza. It's basically cut off. We're not able to operate there anymore. And we have been on the ground since the beginning of the crisis. We're committed to deliver, but we have to find a way to get supplies in and to operate on the ground. These two conditions are no longer there in the north of Gaza. For the rest of Gaza, it's not much better. I mean, we are operating, probably providing some hot meals still in the south of Gaza, around 350,000 meals a day. But also, there is deterioration of the humanitarian situation, of the food security situation. In addition to that, that also getting supplies in is very difficult. And, the last few weeks have been the lowest in terms of managing to inject supplies inside Gaza since the crisis and since the war has started last year.
Who do WFP representatives speak to when trying to find the space to deliver supplies? You say that you don't even have the supplies, but when you did have them, the WHO said it tried 9 times to resupply 2 hospitals in northern Gaza and has just managed to deliver fuel to them. Are there restrictions being imposed from Hamas or by Israel? Is it possible to tell?
I think let me start by saying that we have mobilized, thousands of tons of food supplies all around Gaza, between Egypt, between Jordan, between, even in Israel itself. So we do have quite a lot of supplies that are ready to go in. The problem is it's either with the Israeli side or through Kerem. If you're trying to get access to Kerem Shalom, there are so much criminal activity and, and difficulty in basically getting the security needed to move convoys through Kerem Shalom. So in general, it's multiple factors between the Israeli side and the defense forces, between the violence and the fighting that's happening on the ground, and the fact that the scale of the military operation is so wide, and in addition the very poor security conditions across the Gaza Strip.
How are people surviving, Abeer? Do you remember a few months ago it was being reported people in northern Gaza were using bird seed to make bread?
Well, what makes the situation much more complex is that it's not only humanitarian supplies that are not getting in. Today, the commercial supplies are also having a hard time to get in. So there are, basically shortage of supplies, whether it is humanitarian, whether it is commercial. And throughout, we've been advocating that it's really important to continue to keep the supply chain routes open for the commercial sector, because, that is the only way to keep the population alive. It's not just humanitarian assistance. So how are people surviving? I don't know if they are surviving. It's just a day-to-day struggle. We have been doing the food assessments, and I think by the end of this week, we will be able to come with some numbers that might not reflect how severe the situation is on the ground, but at least in the last few weeks, how it is difficult, let alone imagining how it is with the drying up of all of these supplies going into Gaza. People are basically going by for days and days without eating, families are sharing. It's just the usual coping mechanisms that people use in situations like this. Problem is that the winter is coming. These will be very difficult days for the people in Gaza, and it is happening after 1 year, after people have exhausted all of these coping mechanisms. And, I think that there is a sense that people are so desperate that they don't even want to try anymore.
Abeer Etefa, thank you so much for your time, Abeer.